you our oil and gas prototype, and I'm going to log in on the system. This configuration was developed for our client's requirement and for our senior experience with the oil and gas and industry. This prototype has some modules which represent the different process into the cost management processes. This module starts from the project manage, and then the estimating, the planning process, change management process, contract management, pre-certification is like the side measure of advance. We could see the forecasting module, and then the reports and the administration. This layout it's for a super user profile, and here we could see all the tools configured to make the different activities on the system. The first process to manage to use this configuration is to configure.
Un minuto, Pablo.
Yes.
Are you still there? Hello?
Oh,
I can see.
There. Okay. Okay. Sorry, Pablo. Me avisó de que se había perdido el servidor. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And the first step is to configure the organizational structure. Here on EcoSys, we could manage that. Also, we could import different master data. For example, cost accounts, vendors, or CBS structure from the cost control structure. Also, we could manage the users. We could link the ERP information, for example, from SIP or Ellipse. And also, we could manage another information, for example, the non-filter information come from SIP or Ellipse or another ERP software. The first step is to create projects. Here on the system, we have a different portfolio for the enterprises, for example, this one. And here we could create projects with those information. For example, here in this project, we could fill these fields. For example, total approved project amount and planned start dates, and for example, calculations numbers. For example, here for oil and gas companies, we could configure the working interest percentage for each partner, for example, to then see the baselines regarding the different partners. Also, for each project, we could manage the CBS or WBS or SIP levels control. Here, for example, we have the CBS for this project, for example. Here we could see if the element is a cost control level or not. And for each CBS element, it could be possible, we could configure the different information. For example, the IDs, the description, the profit center ID, and dates, and this calculation information. This is really important information. For each CBS element, we could configure the ETC method and the progress method. ETC is for the forecasting calculations. Okay, this module is to edit and create that, the CBS structure. Also, we could import or manually, we could create manually these elements. That is the first step to create projects and then their CBS structure. Then we have the estimating process. For the oil and gas clients, they have estimating process and also the time sheets plan, because they have to estimate that the staffing plan. It's really important for owners on oil and gas. Okay, the first process is to estimate the budget. Okay, here on the system we could add some detail lines which has cost accounts related to their lines, and for each line, detail line, we could fill with quantities, with unit of measures, original amounts, contingency, estimation class, start and finish planet dates, and for example here I fixed that. Okay, also we could attach documents for I don't know, for example, the estimation background or something like that. This is the created estimation model. Also, we could distribute this information and import that estimation. For the oil and gas owners, clients, they have the requirement to estimate through different versions. For example, here for this prototype, we have 3 estimation versions. Okay, and here we could distribute the original and contingency amounts through the time. For this module also we have estimation summary spreadsheet with amount, contingency, and total cost, and here we could see the result of the estimation process. Then for the timesheet plan, we could estimate the internal resources. For example, managers, junior professionals, senior consultants, all the different roles into the company. Here we could estimate the days for the entire project, and then with this amount we could add this line to the general or total estimation. This module is really important for the oil and gas clients. And then we have the planning budget model. Here the estimations are approved to sorry, you have any questions or no? Okay, for the in this planning budget module we could create our original total budget approved. Okay, here the users have has the possibility to create this original budget coming from the estimation. For example, here I select the project and the estimation version, and this process will create the original approved project amount based on an estimation version. And also we could, well, after that we have the original approved budget summary. Okay, and here we could see the owner's baseline, owner cost baseline. Okay, and also we could see the different partners baseline. For example, if the project is a joint venture project, here we are going to see the baseline, the gross baseline, the net owner baseline, and also net government baseline, partner 1, and until partner 5. Okay. And also for the planning budget module, we could edit and what if budget analysis. Okay. Also, in this module, we have an annual budget menu. This menu is really important for oil and gas clients because they have these two different budgets. The first one, the original total budget, are created for an entire project, and the annual budget it's different because they have to manage the budget for each year differently or separately than the original total budget. This module we could distribute the cost for each detail lines only for the year that it's that we want to analyze. Okay, for example, here we have the annual budget for 2015 for this project, and here separately than the other budget, here we could manage the annual plan. And also here we could manage the time sheets for the annual budget that are different than the time sheets related to the original total budget. And also here we could import the annual plan, and this we could see also the summary time phased cost, like a report to manage the annual plan or annual budget. Here we have, okay, and the summary. And here on the summary we have, or we can see the original annual plan against the last annual plan, for example. Here we have the possibility to compare that, the original and the last modified plan. And for the planning budget module, also we have the AFE management. The AFE is the authorization for expenditure. Here, the owner could assign the different CBS elements to an AFE document. The AFE is a official approved document for the clients, for the owner. And here the system allows to assign the different CBS elements for each AFE document. This is really important to our oil and gas clients too. Okay, this is really important. And
Pablo, George, I need to exit now from the call. I have another call now. So please go ahead and look at the recording later. All right, thanks. Bye.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. For the next module, the change management, here we could add some different changes to the budget. For example, here we could add budget reallocation change, or we could add scope changes. Okay, for example, budget reallocation is to move some budget approved detail lines from a particular CBS to another. Okay, and the scope change is a typically change on the budget. Then here we could approve each change created on the system. Okay, or we could cancel the changes and then apply different changes to the baselines. Create previous than this process. And finally, here we could obtain the current budget summary, which it's composed from the original budget plus the approved changes on the project. Okay, this is the target for the change management model. And here we have the different changes, and that's the target for this model. It's see this comparison spreadsheet. And then we have the contract management model. Here on this model, we have to create some contract header and then the different contract detail lines. Okay, this model, it's possible to integrate to SAP or another ERP solution. Here, for example, we have a contract with their number on SAP, the detail for this contract, for example, dates, general information, the contract document attached to the header description. Also, we have information related to the vendor and cost related to the header amount for this contract. And on the bottom layout, we have the details lines related to the contract. Here we could create or manage the different contract detail lines with quantities, cost, uniform measure, and the position item and cost account related to the detail line. And also we could import this from Excel, for example. First, we could import the header, and there we could import the contract detail lines. And finally, for the contract management, here we could see the contract with their detail lines and the top information for the CBS. The next model is the pre-certification model. This is really important to obtain the earned value management. here on the pre-certification module, we have to, give me a second. Here we have to fill these columns. For example, this period physical person complete, and also the actual cost pre-certificated. Pre-certificated because it's the previous step to fill the actual cost on SIP, for example. Here we could compare the site control with the SIP information. Here we have to fill that column fields. And then
Pablo, give me a sec. Everybody is okay and are seeing the screen?
Yeah, we can see the screen.
Okay, excellent. Go ahead, Pablo.
Okay. And here we have to fill that information, and then we have to save and run the store period performance actions, and then the final target is to see this, the earn value columns to the project. For example, here on the middle we have this period information, planned cost, actual cost pre-certificated, and earned cost. Okay, the performance percent complete, and also we have on the left columns the cumulative information, previous period planned cost, actual cost pre-certificated, and also the earned cost for the previous period cumulative. And on the right, we could see the cumulative planned value, actual value, and earned value. And on the right side, also we could see the CPI, the SPI, and TCPI. These three are KPIs for the cost control management. Okay, the CPI is the cost performance index, the SPI is the schedule performance index, and the TCPI is the to complete performance index. These are really important KPIs values. And finally, then to pre-certificate the information, we could make the forecasting for each project. Here, the owner could make some forecast for each project with three different versions or three different ways to make the forecast. For example, the first one, we could make a forecasting by contract. The second one, we could make forecasting by original total budget, and also we could make a forecasting by annual plan. These three different scenarios are really important for oil and gas clients. Okay. For the forecasting by contract, the user, they could see the different earned value information. For example, the budget at completion, the planned value, earned value, actual cost, pre-certificated, and also they could see the actual cost certificated. This column information is coming from the SIP, for example. Here, the user, they will see the actual cost coming from SIP. And also they have, here we have the CBI, SPI, and the estimate to complete cost, time phased, like you see here, the ETC for this range. And this ETC calculator, it could be manual, it could be calculated from different formulas, or it could be calculated for a different curves coming from another software or created here on EcoSys. Well, after that the user distribute the ETC, we could see the graphic related to all this process, and the user could manage the actual cost, for example, planned cost, and the ETC forecast cost. Okay, and here the user could see the differences for the budget at completion cost or the estimate at completion cost, the differences for each budget. And finally, we have reports, different reports configured to see the information for each project. For example, detailed project status, performance control, project status analysis, or, for example, approved budget control. If we see this one, for example, we have to select the project, and then we could see a report with the information and the different columns with the project information field on the system.